Don't listen to him.
Casey, I can tell by your demeanor, you've begun. It would be correct in assuming you've started to take the virus more seriously.
I mean, if I get it and die, I'm still not. I don't care. But
Welcome to the Beacon House Podcast, recorded live in Knoxville, Tennessee.
So I heard Scott Stapp's fishnet t-shirts got COVID-19. They're not going to make it, guys. They're too dirty. They're compromised.
Oh, Jesus.
R.I.P. Scott Stapp's fishnet t-shirts.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't say anything. Like they needed to go. They
the
really
disease did nothing wrong either. He might have been like 6 feet away from everybody. But he was standing there with arms wide open, just come right at me the whole time. Just cough on me.
I'm gonna cough on
Lick
you.
me.
I'm gonna cough on you.
Touch me.
That had layers.
Yeah.
You had many layers with that remark.
That was real onion.
I'm
of
a
joke.
legit Creed fan and proud of it too.
That's true. You've got license.
I
to
wouldn't
say.
be. I wouldn't go around telling people that. I wouldn't put that on the spot. Can we edit that out?
No,
I'm going to save you
This
the
is
heartache.
the first time I get bleeped for my own protection.
Yeah, I'm going to save you from heartache. Please bleep that.
I'm leaving it in. The world needs to know.
Guys, welcome to another episode of the Beacon House Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Casey.
I'm another host, Spence.
I'm Hunter, and
the avid Creed fan.
yeah. Hey, just remember, guys, if you stay home though, at some point,
You have to listen to Nickelback?
no, we won't. That's too far.
Is it?
too far?
Because I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure you listen to Nickelback too.
My point was simply that you can just look back and be like, I could have been there on a Sunday morning, banging my head, but there's no time for mourning because you stayed the fuck home and you didn't get COVID.
Yeah.
Is it your own prison or is it sanctuary right now?
Hey,
That's for you to decide.
Hunter, what are you writing?
I'm torn right now. Spencer.
Hunter,
That wore me out. That fucking wore me out, dude.
Hunter, what did you write here, Hunter?
Did I write anything?
Funky little monkey, she's a twisted sister. What is Coca-Cola roller coaster? Is this Nickelback lyrics?
No, it's my song. Everyone wants to be the sister's mister.
I have no idea what's going
That's
on.
exactly.
Do you not know?
No, I feel like I have
You haven't-
COVID-19.
Oh, I'm going to show you. When this podcast is over, I'm going to show you Nickelback's new song they released 3 years ago, 4 years ago?
Yeah,
They're still making music.
No, I think I knew that.
Stop coughing on me.
I think maybe I knew that.
Cover your mouth. God.
I did. Don't listen to him.
Casey, I can tell by your demeanor, you've begun. It would be correct in assuming you've started to take the virus more seriously.
I mean, if I get it and die, I'm still not. I don't care. But
But you were mad at Publix.
okay, hold on a second.
You got mad at Publix.
Hold on a second. Here's my thing. If I get it and something happens to me, my apathy is still there. Everyone's going to die and it's okay. Embrace it. However, if I were to get someone else sick that I cared about and they were to die from it, I care way more about that. And I don't want to be responsible for somebody else getting sick. So I've been staying at home with pure anxiety attacks of meeting up with people and like doing this podcast. You're like, oh, let's go meet up and do two. And I'm like, can we do it from home? Can we do it remotely anywhere other than I don't have to be around you guys just in case I have it and I'm giving it to you unbeknownst to me?
I would challenge that you have confused wisdom for apathy. What you've said is wise.
And then there's these dumb bitches at Publix.
Oh, never mind.
I went grocery shopping yesterday.
Tell us about it.
I needed supplies. I needed butter, cheese, and bread because I've been living on grilled cheese. Actually,
Ooh, man, that sounds good.
another thing I've been for breakfast. Listen, I'm going to get back to my Publix story in a second. Spencer,
Give it to me.
for breakfast.
Yes.
Try this tomorrow morning.
Okay.
Toast some bread. Put a little mayo on the bread. Your favorite piece of cheese. And then a fried egg and a little bit of hot sauce. And eat it open face. And make sure the egg is still kind of runny, so the hot sauce and egg yolk and mayonnaise all mixed
That's like
together.
an open-faced egg sandwich, kind of.
But it's so good. I've been just devouring carbs and eggs for the last 7 mornings.
Oh, dude, I have. It's been terrible. Like, I've been so off the diet. Like, I went and bought all this food at the store. I think I talked about this on one of the podcasts. I bought all this food at the store that wouldn't go bad, and then it's all just carbs. So I just went off the diet until this whole thing's over because really a big part of my little trying to eat well was like eating salad all the time, and like the salad bar is closed now at Food City because people come by and put their hands in it. You can buy a prepackaged salad, but it only lasts a couple days in the fridge, and if you got it, so I'll buy like 2 at a time and take them to work. But then like that night, I'm just like, God damn, this! I'm eating like fucking bread again, and I'm honestly, it's wonderful. But I'm eager to get back on the path afterwards. But in the meantime, I do need to get a grilled cheese sandwich because I haven't had one in at least probably 2 years.
How do you make one?
I'm not good at making
How do
them.
you make one specifically?
Well, I will say this. The greatest grilled cheese sandwich known to man ever in the history of the world.
The Denny's at Cleveland?
No.
Tennessee?
No, that's Scott Stapp's. They grill Scott Stapp's shirt at that Denny's. And they actually serve it to you on a plate of 18-year-olds.
Is there pubes in my? No, it's Scott Stapp's fishnet t-shirts.
Yeah. Like you basically get like any girl that's a freshman brings you a fried fishnet shirt that she got from Scott Stapp's dorm room. Anyway, just Google it. You guys will understand what we're talking about. Google it. But no. The greatest grilled cheese sandwich ever, and this is undisputed, was at a place that no longer exists, kinda, called North Corner Sandwich Shop, which was right over off Central Avenue, now more famously known as Pizzeria Nora, which is the greatest pizza ever. And the guy that runs it he's a super nice man, and he is an evil. He's not actually evil. He's a really nice guy. He is a genius culinary expert. But when he decided to make sandwiches, he made the greatest sandwiches ever tasted by humans. And he had a grilled cheese sandwich, and it was huge, and he had many kinds of cheeses, buttered, grilled. It was unbelievable how good it was. It was as good as going to Linderhof.
I remember we went to that sandwich shop before.
It was as good as Stock
It was
and
off
Barrel.
Central, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's right across from Elt's Brewery.
Yeah.
And it's Pizzeria Nora. And I think as of this date today, they're still doing takeout.
Okay.
Over there. So you can still go get a pizza. But anyway, and maybe he would give you, if you asked politely, maybe he would give you his grilled cheese sandwich recipe. It was unbelievable and huge. It would fill you up. You didn't even need it. Second greatest grilled cheese ever is at a place in Florida called Cooters, which is in Clearwater. And it is unfucking believable.
Called what?
Cooters. Cooters.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you
Scott
say it again?
Stapp's pet's name.
Yeah, Cooters. But
That was my first pet's name.
anyway,
We don't count what you call your dick.
But I'm here to tell you, I even like a very average grilled cheese sandwich. Even a very normal one done in the skillet at home, butter. I did learn, somebody finally taught me that you have to butter both sides of the bread and flip it so they both get grilled and then the cheese. So there's an art to it.
Also butter the pan.
Smart. Yeah, maybe that's a better way to do it.
Just so it doesn't stick.
Yeah. There's a lot, and I would recommend, if you've not tried, I don't know what kind of butter you use, but if you're not using grass-fed butter, you're missing out.
Right now, because butter's kind of limited at grocery stores.
Is it?
And so I got my Crockett Creek. I think Crockett Creek. I don't know.
What?
It's like the olive green tub. It's a Crockett Creek butter margarine
Crockett
or something.
Creek.
I would have to Google it. But I also found Kerrygold.
Kerrygold
Irish
is the
grass-fed butter.
It's the one.
And that's what I've been using.
It's incredible.
Now, let me ask you this. When you make eggs, do you season your eggs or do you season the pan before you cook the eggs?
What do you mean season?
Okay. So,
I melt grass-fed butter in the pan.
yes.
And then I put the egg on top of that.
Okay. I want to change your world right now.
Give it.
I want you, next time you make eggs, to put your butter down.
All you have to do
Stop it.
is put your butter down.
Yeah, Google. God.
Jesus.
God.
Put the butter down.
Are we already
put
done?
It down, put it down, put it down.
Are we done with this
I
episode?
went to Denny's. I wanted some please, but they wanted my shirt. Wanted my shirt. Hell yeah.
Sorry, that when you said put the butter down, I was like, that's a dance. That's a dance song. And we had to make. I'm so sorry. Go on. So you put the butter down.
You put
We
butter
won't do
down
it to you
you
in
melt
the
it.
pan.
Yep, and you whoosh it all over the
Whoosh
pan.
it around
Yeah,
like
get the
like
whole
you're
pan covered.
like you have your own cooking show.
And
I always
then-
pick the pan up and swirl it. And I'm terrible at it.
And then you take your garlic, salt, and pepper and put it all
Garlic,
over the
salt, and
butter.
pepper.
Yeah, all over the butter.
Oh, I've not done
and
that.
then crack an egg in that and flip it in the seasoned butter.
Let me ask you a question. When you are you talking about making scrambled egg?
No, fried egg.
Just a straight fried
I
egg.
really don't like scrambled eggs. I like fried eggs. With
I
yolk.
recently somebody told me that a good way to make scrambled eggs is just to crack the egg straight into the pan and then stir it in the pan.
Yeah, that's always how I made scrambled eggs.
Oh, that fucked me up so bad. I've always put 3 eggs in a bowl
And whisked it?
Well, I whisk them with a fork.
No.
And I would sit there and whisk them until
No.
there was no lumps. It was all one color, smooth, and then pour that in the pan.
You're
And
making way too many dirty dishes.
dude, I tried it and it wasn't that bad. It was inconsistent. Like some of the white kind of glubs up, but all in all, it was okay. And it totally changed my fucking world.
Some people put milk. They crack eggs in the pan, stir it up a little bit, and then put some milk to fluff it up.
I know a lot of people that add milk to their eggs to give them conflict. I don't actually.
And those people like Creed.
Dude, I'll tell you this too. By the way, if I will reveal the secret to making the ultimate. Do you ever make an omelet?
Yeah.
I'm about to tell you the
How do
way.
you flip it?
This is the trick right here.
I've seen someone put it in the lid of in the pan lid and then flip it that way.
Check it out. Here's how you do it.
You watch Gordon Ramsay's masterclass on YouTube.
I think maybe he did have somebody. I watched the video a long time ago.
Does.
Don't think it was him. This is how you make the perfect omelet. Okay,
Creme fraiche.
For starters, nobody can flip an omelet in the pan correctly at the right time and get it right. It just doesn't work like that. It doesn't cook on the top the way it does on the bottom. Something's always wrong if you try to make an omelet the conventional way. Here's what you do. So you get, however you're going to do your egg, you're either going to stir it in the pan, but you basically have to scramble an egg. And then get it in the pan. Either you've already scrambled it in the pan, like you say, or you do it. I for an omelet, I probably do it in a bowl.
For an omelet, I put it in the bowl.
Then you pour it in the pan, and as it starts cooking, when you start to see bubbles coming up through the egg, that means it's ready for you to put toppings on it. Put whatever the fuck you want on it. Ham, mushrooms, green pepper, whatever.
Pineapple.
I don't like putting veggies and stuff on the raw part on top. I know it's probably kind of cooked.
No, trust me.
I want to flip it and then put it on
here's
the
what you do. Here's what you do. Trust me. You put everything on one side,
okay,
and it'll still be a little bit uncooked on that side, okay? That's okay, because what you're going to do right at that moment is you reach over and you turn the oven on, broil, which is the top heating element. It cooks from the top down.
And
listen to me. Now, also, disclaimer, you need to have a pan that will go in the oven. So like a metal pan with like a handle that won't melt. Mm-hmm. So it can't be a plastic handle. But get a good fucking pan that you can put in the oven. And what
skillet
you do
is preferable.
Skillet, yeah. So what you do, then you put whatever you're going to put on the egg and let it keep cooking for a little bit. And bubbles will start to keep coming up through. And then the last thing you do is you put cheese. Most people use whatever you're going to top it with, the last thing, cheese and everything on top of your toppings. And then, right then, when you can tell that the bottom is starting to get cooked and you would normally try to flip it and fuck up and tear it up and it would ruin your whole day, take the thing off the eye, put it in the oven at the top shelf on broil. And then you wait it doesn't take long at all. It takes maybe 30 seconds to 1 minute, tops, and it cooks the rest of the omelet from the top down. And then you pull it out, and it will be perfect. And you can open the oven and look at it. Like, look in there and see. If you leave it even just a second too long, it'll start to burn on the top.
Yeah.
Take it out. Now your omelet's cooked perfectly all the way through. And then when you you kind of like tilt it up to pour it on the plate. And then at the very end, you just flip it over and it folds.
Okay.
You will never go back. And it will make the perfect omelet every time. And I didn't come up with that. I saw that on a video. But
honestly, I don't make omelets or scrambled eggs. I just really prefer fried eggs only.
They're so good.
I like a fried egg too. Do you do it where you like crack it in the pan and then flip it over once?
I crack it in the pan, the seasoned pan.
Seasoned pan.
Flip it.
Right.
And then let it cook on the other side, then flip it over just back and forth just for a minute, just till both sides get kind of that brown caramelization.
Yep.
But not too much to where there's no yolk. I like my yolk medium, where it's kind of runny, but still kind of solid.
I do too.
Too runny, I feel like I'm going to get sick from it, so I don't really prefer that. But
yeah, so like a well done pimple.
Yeah.
Generally, you could eat a raw egg and it's safe as long as it's been refrigerated.
Right.
That's if an egg sits out at room temperature and it doesn't get cooked all the way, then you're probably in trouble. But most of the time, an egg doesn't have to be super, super, super cooked. I think to be safe, it's not like meat generally, but it does need to be cold.
I've been trying to like Instacart mainly, like order my groceries from.
See, I've never done that. I just go to the store and I'm just real vigilant. Like if I see somebody, I just start fucking spreading out. Like I avoid them.
I got these eggs called Happy Eggs. They come in like a bright yellow carton.
That's what I use.
The yolk is so orange.
They're so fucking good.
They are. They're
explain.
So good. The yolk, like an egg yolk is normally like kind of like a light orange.
Yeah.
These are like a dark orange. It's
They're
very
super,
strange,
super
but they're
organic.
so good. It's so good.
And they're super like cage-free, friendly, humane certified. That's the reason I don't buy eggs.
The cartons weren't raised in cages?
No, they let
the cartons were
go.
fed a vegetarian diet with no hormones and antibiotics. You fucking dick.
So Thunder, thank you for reminding me. Back to the dumb bitches at Publix.
Yeah, let's go back.
Oh my God. I'm glad I could be of service.
You really struck a chord.
Look, I get that kids aren't really in harm's way of this thing. like younger kids, like in their teens.
Mm-hmm.
But they could carry it.
But they could carry it. And
they've had people as young as 13 die from this thing.
Yes. Complications, I'm sure, were a factor. They didn't just die from the virus at a healthy age of 13.
When it attacks the respiratory system. That's the big thing about this virus.
But what Casey's saying, is...
I'm not saying the people at Publix aren't fucking stupid, because the people that I've seen down around campus are completely stupid about virus protection.
No,
but it has killed young people that were perfectly healthy.
But the bubonic plague killed humans, and it was carried by rats, and the rats were fine.
What I'm asking is
They weren't fine. They were smelly and dirty, and they were rats.
The 13-year-old that died, was it just coronavirus period, or do they have other complications?
They've had several people who were below the age of 21 that died with no health they were perfectly healthy, and they got it, and it just fucking took, like, they went from like, I've got a sniffle to like, I'm on a fucking ventilator.
Because I feel like pneumonia and the flu both do that as well, but
it creates pneumonia. That's the thing.
Oh, okay. Anyways, people at Publix,
but young people largely don't think they're going to be.
Yes, and they're touching their faces. They're touching their noses and touching surfaces. Stop! Just please stop.
Mm-hmm.
Stop. Wash your hands.
Yeah,
I get that you think you're invincible, but you're not.
No one is.
Please quit.
No one is.
Well, I saw.
And just know that if you get it and die, I don't care. But just please wash your hands.
I saw a bunch of
Spencer and I care.
I saw a ton of young people, walking around on campus, just like walking around out in public, just carrying beers, like partying. Like the school's canceled, so they do some online classes.
That's why this shelter and better, safer at home shelter in place thing is happening.
Right, because people won't stay in. And I want to say, I'm not just being like, get off my lawn, you whippersnappers. Like, dude, I get it. When you're young, you feel fucking invincible. It's one of the best things about being young. And it's selfish. And there's a wonderful kind of selfishness that comes with just being young. And like, I get it, but this is different. Like, I was crazy and I took a lot of risks when I was young. And I did a lot of things I wish I wouldn't have done. And like, I got lucky that I'm even still alive because I did a lot of dumb shit.
Yeah.
But this is different. Like, they're saying now that this is one of the most like catastrophic things that's happened since World War II. That's big. Think of all the things that have happened. That's bigger than 9/11. That's bigger than Vietnam. That's big.
You're going to trigger me with that one.
Well, what I'm getting at is, they're talking about economically and everything. They're not talking about in terms of death. Like, this thing still doesn't have death numbers. Again, what is it? They're still less than 900,000 worldwide, I think.
Yeah.
Again, in 2017, tuberculosis killed 1.6 million. So we're still not there with numbers, but there are things that make this different, and nothing has ever closed the entire fucking world down like this.
That's
even though it
too.
killed more people. This has done something. And again, we did an episode a while back where like, I don't get, like, hang on, the regular flu still kills more people than this. Why didn't they? Because it's treatable. And I saw a guy finally kind of answer that question. He goes, the thing about this is all those other things like the H1N1, SARS, this is actually a form of, so they call this SARS-2.
Oh, damn. Okay.
Because it was a coronavirus too.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Most of these things have been a coronavirus. The H1N1, H2N3, a lot of that stuff was all coronavirus. So the COVID-19 specifically, we should probably clear it. We're talking about the new one, COVID-19. Thing about it, all those other ones, when people get sick, they had symptoms immediately. And they could be, boom, quarantine, put away, put in the hospital, all that. This, people walk around for like 2 weeks with no symptoms, spread it to everybody, and then they get sick. And then when they finally show symptoms, it can be very rapid. You can go from like a slight fever to a ventilator in like less than 48 hours.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. This is a different thing than we've seen before. And that's why it's a big deal. But my whole point is this: the people I see walking around just disregarding it, like, I get the reckless abandon of youth and all, but like, have they not, dude, that's the generation that's always on their phone. You know, they've seen the news. Somebody's had to go, dude, you shouldn't be out. It's bad. People are dying from it. You know, like just now it killed the singer from Fountains of Wayne.
Yep.
It killed singer Joe Diffie, basketball star Karl Anthony Towns. He doesn't have it, but his mom's in a coma from it. I mean, people are getting it that are big names.
Yep.
And it's weird that people are just being oblivious to it. Like, I get that
They're ignoring it.
I get that not everybody can stay home. But if you're going to go out, at least go out real carefully. Have a bunch of Clorox wipes with you. Don't touch everything. Wash your hands a lot. Stay 6 feet away from everybody. And I just don't see people doing that. That's I think what you saw at Publix.
Yeah. And also, when I was shopping, people were still like walking right up on me to also grab some sort of spice or oil or whatever they needed. I was just like, give me a second. I'll be done. I'm just going to grab this one thing and go.
Yeah.
Don't get up on me.
Yeah.
So,
and I've had to tell people that at work too, that like we're being super careful and sanitizing everything. But then on our side of the counter, people like stand right next to each other, and I'm just like, guys, spread out a little bit. We just don't know. It could be on your shoe. You know, like we've got to do better. We've got to be a little more careful. Like when we just did a podcast about it, I think there were still only like 4 cases in Knox County. That went up to 30, and then it doubled to 60 something. Just in this county, still not huge numbers, but it's happening.
Yeah, but the rate of increase is huge, though. So
yeah, and that's actually slowing down. Like I said, my friend who's a scientist out in California has been studying the rate at which it doubles, and that's slowing down.
which is good, but to your point, the number
is bigger.
even though it's slowed down, is still bigger exponentially each time.
Exactly. So you could have a tiny number that's doubling really fast, and it still looks kind of small. But when you have a big number, even if it takes a few days for it to double, when it doubles, it's huge. Like, so at this thing's peak, it was doubling 2 days. It was doubling every 2 days. And now I think it's starting to get close to 4 days it takes for it to double. But the numbers that are doubling are huge numbers. And that's the thing. Instead of going from like 4 to 6 to 18 to 20, like boom, 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 and it's still, you're below 100. Now it's taken a minute, but it's going from like 100,000 to 200,000.
yeah.
Boom. So again, stay abreast of the reality of the whole thing. I still think that you have to manage fear, and you still have to manage anxiety. And I still think if you're careful, unless somebody like specifically tries to like, and I've heard crazy stories. Have you guys heard these crazy stories about people like going to the store and licking stuff and
Coughing on stuff.
yeah, like it's
Who
almost
know
like,
they have it.
Why?
almost like bioterrorism stuff. People that have it are like trying to give it to other people.
That is bioterrorism. It doesn't matter how minuscule that is. If you knowingly infect something with the intent of hurting somebody else with a biological agent, it's bioterrorism.
Yeah.
Those people should be dragged.
I
the
haven't
fuck to
seen.
jail.
I don't have names.
Fucking white people.
I don't. Yeah, fucking white.
Up to no good.
That's the whitest fucking thing I've ever heard. But yeah, there's a thing. So I mean, dude, do you think? Here's a question. Because we have some friends that are
As
very
much shit as I talked about it, I'm probably going to get this thing and die. So
No, you're
everyone
not.
You'll be fine.
Listen.
keep your ears to the ground.
Oh, God.
Listen.
'Cause I've been talking a big fucking game, and this thing's going to kick my ass.
we
It
love
might
you.
kick your ass, but you'll be fine.
You're gonna be okay. We're gonna make you. Got to just believe you're gonna make it.
I grew up with bad bronchitis my whole life, so
I used to have pneumonia every winter when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I had pneumonia for like 6 straight years, every single fucking winter.
Chronically
And
ill
now I don't have a
childhood
spleen.
asthma. So we're all three high risk.
It's true.
Yay.
But again,
last episode of the Beacon House podcast.
Oh
right
God,
here.
that's so dark.
nice. Signing off now from the afterlife.
Yikes.
Nah, dude, we're gonna fucking prevail. Nobody's telling you the numbers of the people who don't have it.
Yeah.
Nobody's telling you the numbers of the people that
Well,
are recovering from it.
You can see in the numbers of deaths who's recovering.
We want everybody to be careful.
I've heard blood type plays a part.
Blood type,
Does.
and they don't know why. They're still trying to figure out why people with type A are more susceptible, and like super healthy, like jacked dudes are getting it, and you think, oh, that guy's going to throw it off.
But they have A type blood, so that's why.
Because and then people that it's just doesn't seem to be a whole lot of rhyme or reason.
I think I'm O, but I can't remember. I'm
don't
either
know.
O or AB positive.
I don't know.
I can't remember.
I don't know. I have no idea what my blood type is, but we just want to remind everybody, go back and listen to our episode about the Beacon House Survival Guide. We gave a lot of good tips about how to stay clean, stay sanitary,
Kick a virus ass.
kick a virus ass. Like, you got to assume everybody has it. Even the people you're pretty sure, like, I'm pretty sure you guys don't have it, but I'm still not touching you. No offense today. We're not going to make contact, and stay the fuck over there, you know?
Yeah.
I love you, but from over here. And we're going to spray everything. We're sanitizing. Like, but you got to assume that you could have walked over it. Like, when you get home, I've been telling my employees, dude, when you get home, spray your fucking shoes off with Lysol, or like wipe them down with alcohol or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, wash your clothes. Little things like that. I'm not saying, I don't think you have to just stay indoors. I think you can go out as long as you social distance, at least for now. But you got to be careful. You can't make contact with anybody, and you got to like assume that you may have picked it up, and you got to be careful
Well,
about
amending
that
that statement, because this episode's coming out very soon anyways, the governor, the article's all over, is signing a shelter in place a better, safer at home order right now.
Until April.
Didn't they kind of do that already in Knox City?
I think that one was like shutting down non-essential businesses.
Yeah, this
all,
is-
like statewide.
No, they issued a new one like 2 days ago.
Right.
Oh,
and
right,
it was
yeah,
Where
yeah.
they can write citations if they found people out fucking around. Like if a bunch of people are up in the park getting drunk, they can go, hey,
But-
go the fuck home.
But it was also stated, see, different counties have been doing stay-at-home orders and closing down non-essential businesses like hair salons and things like
Yeah.
that.
Right.
But it was not a statewide thing until last week.
Right.
Or
Yeah.
until this week.
So
And
there
what
were
he
still
did was
there were still
gentle.
hair salon and shit open other places.
yeah, in
Yeah.
other counties and
Oh.
stuff. Because it wasn't...
Because some
there.
counties don't have any cases.
Well, he
yet.
was trying to. He specifically said, "I'm protecting your civil liberties, but don't be stupid." Basically, I'm paraphrasing, but that was his first order.
And I think it's so dumb. I think he needs to go statewide, stay at home, don't go out
Well, that's what I'm
unless
saying.
you got to
He's
go to the
doing
grocery store, gas station,
Yeah.
or like a pharmacy.
that. He's doing that right now. The article I read was 25 minutes old.
For at least this month, you're going to see a more it's slowly progressing. You're going to see
Tighter
like
and tighter, yeah.
tighter and tighter, but you're also going to see, I think, more police officers out and about than
Mm-hmm.
you normally see. And you're also going to see maybe even like National Guard driving around,
Yeah,
asking people, "Hey, what are you doing? Going to the grocery store? Okay, go to the grocery store. Get this where you need to go and go home.
Mm-hmm.
Go into parks. Hey, what are you guys doing out here? Go home." That kind of thing.
that would work. I mean, that's all it would take because the intimidation factor of that alone, you wouldn't have to lift a finger.
Think about seeing a
single
military
person.
grade Hummer driving around telling people to go home. I'd
Exactly.
go home. I'd go home. I'd be like,
Yeah.
No.
And this is exactly the scenario I was talking about when
Yeah.
we first brought this up, and I was talking
Like a
about
month
what happens
ago,
if
yeah.
they stop you leaving work, and you know what I mean. Like there's a
Well, that's the
danger.
thing. It's
There's
like-
a danger to this.
Oh, and
No, yes.
And my parents have talked to me
You
about
and you have
this.
to be careful about that. About the freedoms that they
Safety
take away,
over freedom is what is
Yeah,
how we
and
got
it
the
doesn't-
Patriot Act in the first place,
and it never works.
Yeah,
And it never. I'm not saying people need to just go out and get the coronavirus, but I'm saying that like anytime they take a whole bunch of your freedoms away, they never all come back.
no, yeah, you're not disagreeing with the idea behind it. You're disagreeing
And I've been
with
doing
the
it.
implementation.
I've not been
of
going
it.
out. I've not been
Yeah.
visiting for except like to come here and do the podcast. And we've been super safe. I don't think we could be any safer
Yeah.
about how we do this with the way we sanitize and disinfect everything. And I was here last night disinfecting everything.
Yeah,
too.
you've been real. I was
have
shocked when you sent me that Snapchat from the party of 80 people where you were like crowd surfing last night. I'm like, what?
Shut up.
But no,
You can't get us back for the dirty eyes.
I'm all
episode,
about
buddy.
being.
I never
I'm
will.
all about being careful for the thing. I'm just. But here's the thing. If they shut everything down except for grocery stores and gas stations, that's where everybody's going to go. You're going to have more crowd
Yeah.
piling. And a local business owner pointed out. They go, I get what they're trying to do, but they could just issue a stay-at-home order and not shut businesses down. Some businesses make it easier to stay at home, like the ones that are delivering or offering takeout. It's the problem is not that the people aren't spreading diseases at those places. Somebody the other day picked up food at Sono Taco out in South Knoxville, and they literally you had to stand way down at the end of this table, and they had a string, and they like the food like slides to you, so nobody even gets within 12 feet of each other, and then you give the money and they pull it back. You know, like it's like super careful.
Yeah.
But that's not where it's getting spread. It's getting spread by people that are just still out hanging around, just chilling. That's the people that need to be policing and like writing
Well,
citations,
and that's
which
the
they
thing,
just
is
did
they're
that in
gonna-
Knoxville. I
You're
think
gonna see. I think this like big push in police force and even like military forces, like National Guard, people driving around going to parks, being like, "What are you all doing here?"
Right.
And they're like, "Well, we're just out enjoying the sun." Go the fuck home.
What do you think they'll do if
now.
it's just one guy
Go home
by himself?
Go
Why,
home.
why does he have to go home though?
Just don't be out.
Why
Don't
does
be
it-
out unnecessarily.
What does it matter though?
If you want to go walk around your yard.
Maybe. I think if you're by yourself, you should be able to go wherever and do whatever as long as you don't make any contact.
Yeah, but if six
But that's-
people have that same mentality,
They're going to wind up at
That's
the
the
same
problem.
place
That's
together.
principality. That's the principle of it, which
And
I agree with. But what Casey's saying, it's why they would implement
there's a
it that
matter.
way.
There's
It
a matter.
encourages.
See, I know a lot of
of
people that have been quarantining, but they've been quarantining by themselves. So they still go like hiking, but they just do it solitarily. And
Yeah,
it's
but
perfectly
if-
safe.
But if 8 people do that and they all go hiking and there's 8 people on the same trail and one of them has COVID-19, now all 7 of them have it.
if
Yeah.
they touch.
I mean, or
Yeah,
if
but
they,
like
or
if they lean on the same tree, then,
Yeah, no, you're
which is
right.
what-
You're
or
right.
if
There's
they,
still-
or if they
you're
cough
right.
and the wind picks it up and throws it at you.
Yeah, I mean, I guess technically that could. Yeah, I get it. I'm
I understand
wondering.
there's civil liberties and there's rights involved. However, there's also public safety to consider. And I'm also a germaphobe, so
Yeah.
fucking go inside.
Can you run from all
Hang out
the
with your cats.
COVID and
Hang
the
out with-
wind?
Hang out with your cats, watch season 3 of Ozark, and just shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But I think we'll go back and get the official word on what's been passed and all that kind of stuff. But I know they issued a thing
a couple days ago.
Several days ago
yeah.
in Knoxville that was already like that, where you could write a citation if people were out unnecessarily. It was a stay-at-home, safer at home.
And I have a feeling tomorrow.
And she actually got on the news and addressed. Now, I don't like her as much as I like Jacobs. Jacobs has actually been out handing out food.
Yeah.
Like supporting local businesses and like going and picking up takeout. He was at Bearden Middle School handing out
Yeah. That's because he's active. The reason he won't come on the podcast is we're too big. He's all about the little guy, which is good. But if we were just a smaller podcast.
If only we were that big. But he was handing out like meals at Bearden Middle School for like kids that aren't getting fed now because they relied on the school to feed them.
Yeah.
They opened the cafeteria up and made meals. They packaged them. And they had a table out front where parents could bring their kid there and they would hand. Glenn Jacobs was out there handing the food out.
Did you see that thing he
They're
tweeted?
sanitizing, but I was like, I get it. He's like, and he also pointed out the more stuff you close, the more death rates go up. Mm-hmm. And do you know why?
That I don't know.
Suicide.
Right.
Oh, yeah. That's the thing I've been worried
Mental
about,
health.
honestly, yeah.
So you can't just shut an economy down in an attempt to save people because you lose people. The more people, the higher unemployment goes up, so does suicide. And in Knox County, he said, I think last week, the amount of suicides they normally get in like several months happened in like a couple of days.
This is a slippery slope.
So there's a big issue with mental health too. So again, that's a big part of this whole problem. That's why I would say that's why I think this whole thing falls on personal responsibility. Like if you don't have to go out, don't go out. I mean, I'm the one sitting here going, I think you should be able to go drive around to clear your head and get some fresh air if you want.
And I also feel like places of business shouldn't hold their employees responsible for showing up if they don't feel safe to show up.
Of course. Like the place I work, if people thought, hey, I don't, we're like, fine, man, take a month off.
Yeah.
We let them take off. Fine, done. And we've actually found that we're being more careful than the average employee. Like we've had to go, hey man, sanitize that carrier and do this thing and blah, 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 go back and do this. And we're encouraging people not to use cash at all. If people do use cash, we soak it in fucking sanitizer. Literally the money has to dry out. We soak it with so much sanitizer. But regardless of how you cut it, like on the one hand, you could go, look, shutting the economy down is going to ultimately hurt way worse than the coronavirus. You're going to lose more people. It's going to hurt more in the long term.
Which I agree with. But if you want to stop this thing.
If you want to flatten the curve, at some point people have to stay the fuck home. That's true also. So, but either way, it kind of falls on like a personal responsibility.
Well, I just know some businesses, I mean, you hear certain like corporations and companies being like, look, you know, you have a duty, you have to be here, you have to work, you're an essential employee. It's like, oh, all of a sudden
I don't think anybody's forcing. I don't think right now anybody can force anybody to come to work.
You can't force them, but you can say, look, we need you to work. You don't have to work, but if you don't work, we're not sure if you're going to have a job when this is over.
I guess some places would do. But again, somebody really, I think it was Mark Cuban or somebody.
Which is really fucked up. Somebody
said that some businesses are getting behind their employees and helping them pay their when they're out of work, like Texas Roadhouse. Mm-hmm. You know what's funny? When the story about the Texas Roadhouse guy went public, like this guy got behind his employees. He agreed to quit taking his own salary and pay for his employees' expenses while work was slow. Dude, the fucking cars at the Texas Roadhouse parking lot were insane. Mm-hmm. Everybody was lined up 6 feet apart to support that guy because of what he did. And other companies, and again, this is hearsay, but I heard IHOP was one of them where they just fired all their employees and then made their managers take a pay cut and work more and like just made it the employee's fault. I think how companies handle this thing is going to set the tone for them for the next, literally the rest of their company life.
Absolutely.
The companies that do well for their employees during this are going to excel. And I would encourage anybody listening to this, if you hear of a company handling this well and taking care of their employees and trying to do the right thing,
support them. Please.
And if you hear of a company that's being shitty to their employees and just firing everybody and making it their fault, not giving them any options, tell people about that because maybe they don't deserve your money after this.
And there's also a thing where people are shaming companies online. And that's what I've been seeing a lot on Twitter is like, oh, my company said I wouldn't do this, this, and this. Here's the name of that company. And then people just go after them. And so you have this like real hyper cancel culture kind of push going towards companies, which
I would advise filter that through your own personal judgment. Some of that, there's always some dick that's going to go, my employer was unfair to me. And then you find out all they did was ask him to work for his
Yeah.
money. Like he took advantage of me. Like actually, he just said to do your fucking job. So there's always going to be somebody, like bitching about something. I would be real careful.
Oh, yeah.
To look. I would look at that. Like there was a thing here recently that went around about a local company where they said that all the employees had coronavirus and they were staying open anyway, and it was on Facebook, and it was totally baseless. It was completely untrue, and Facebook made them take it down, and it was the mom of some employee that was just off her goddamn rocker, spreading lies about shit like, and just
That's weird. It's almost like you shouldn't take your information from Facebook.
no
Period.
shit, God. Beacon House rule number 1: turn off the fucking news, including social media.
Including social media.
Stay fucking clean, guys.
Kick
Yeah.
a virus's ass.
Stay clean. You got to sanitize it. Kill that fucking virus. Kill it every day. Kill the virus every day.
Listen, every time I go out and drive to a grocery store, this is the process. I come home, I wash my hands, I wipe down all the groceries I've bought with Clorox wipes, put them away. I then disinfect the door handles and go outside and disinfect my car.
Yep.
I then go upstairs, take off all the clothes I had on, put them in the washing machine, take a shower, get out, wash my hands again, and then continue my day normal.
My friend, I think you are safe. I really think if you continue to do that, your chances.
But I still think there's that one time where I touch a handle and then touch my face and just fucking forget about
Well,
it.
you got to be vigilant.
I know.
Like Brandon Lee was talking. Friend, shout out Brandon Lee. Shout out everybody. By the way, we miss everybody. I miss seeing all the guys, Brandon and Ferg and everybody. We all get to get together after this. But
Chicken wings.
chicken wings, bro.
Yeah, I wanted to.
But what Brandon said, he goes, if people would have been this careful, like for the last 50 years, you'd have virtually no flu. Mm-hmm. Like this is really going to have an effect. This is going to have a lasting effect.
Hopefully.
Or you can create a superbug that way.
I don't know.
You can create a flu that mutates to fight off things like that.
Yeah, everybody always says that, but the truth is nothing lives through alcohol.
Yeah.
Nothing lives through sanitization. Like somebody said, I hear that if we use the soap, the virus will eventually adapt. I was like, here's the thing. Soap and water and alcohol, like wipes and stuff like that, sanitizer that's got alcohol in it, kills everything. Mm-hmm. It's 100% like effective biologically effective. Mm-hmm. So no matter how the thing mutates and all this, and once it gets in you, it may do a lot of crazy shit. But if you're sanitary on the surface, you're going to kill it, whatever the fuck it is. So that's my whole point is just be super fucking sanitary. And, if you take the kind of steps Casey just talked about, if you really do all that shit, I think you can relax.
Yeah.
I really do. I think you can be careful who gets around you. But if you're doing all that, you're clean.
But also, I have the privilege of working somewhere so fantastic that me saying, I don't want to work. I want to use my PTO. I'm a neurotic germaphobe, and this is not the best time for me to be in public.
Sure.
Because if someone coughs, I'm going to make them feel bad about it. Mm-hmm. And the company looked and went, go for it. Absolutely. We have people who need the hours and need the money who want to work. So if you want to use PTO, we're more than happy to help you out that.
That's wonderful.
So
yeah, I feel very privileged to work for a company that's still open and still doing business and still helping people and delivering food and, like making it easy for other people and keeping people safe. And we've done a ton of donations too. That's another thing. Like, again, we're not going to identify the company, but we've donated a ton of food to people that are out of work, that are in the service industry. And then also we've done a bunch of special deals for food for like all the hospital workers, nurses, the people that are working around the clock like that. Mm-hmm. So it feels good to be able to help and contribute and also to help people still get a paycheck and keep them safe. And, like I'm appreciating my role through all this as like a leader, keeping my people safe and helping other people that are not in a good position, and it makes me feel like I go home feeling like I did something important.
Well, on the note of actively helping, if you're especially staying home, something that I've seen a lot of people do, and I'm starting to see it locally happen more. Big shout out to our friend Brandon Hudson. I know he didn't start it.
I fucking love him.
I woke up this morning. So this is my point though, is like if you want to help, like if you feel driven to help, but you're stuck at home because you're not in a job that can stay open right now or something, a thing you can do, like Casey jumped online and was like, give me a top 5 question and I'll answer it. Just engage people that way with something fun, something light that will pique their interest. Brandon jumped on, which is what I woke up to today. There was a Jason Isbell cover and he was like, I've seen a bunch of musicians that can't go play and they're just playing from home. So here's mine. And it made my heart smile in a way that I can't describe.
Yeah.
So if you hear this episode, bud, God bless you and thanks. And
he also encouraged me. He texted me and said, so when are we going to get some Burn the City live.
I thought about that.
And I did too. And I was like, you know what?
We could totally do that.
He was like, look, if one fucking thing needs to come out of this, Burn the City needs to emerge.
Yeah.
And I was like, I couldn't agree with you more.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
we're working on
We're
managing
tweaking stuff safely.
Yes,
while
safely.
we can.
We're working on managing the distance, and but thank you thank you to Brandon Hudson for believing in us at all, and B,
Also,
thank you for the inspiration, and C, thank you for the entertainment. You're a god amongst men.
You should jump online though. Like if you get a chance, just even if you don't want to sing or something, but like play guitar. I've been thinking about it since this started 2 weeks ago, and him doing it. It's obviously not going to be nearly as good as anything you guys would do, but I'm going to do a couple songs on Facebook.
Oh, you should totally do it.
So
no, I'd love to.
but
I'd
you
love
could
to
do
figure
that.
out a way so we could do like maybe a song where we cut the again. Casey would have to be involved in this, where we would all maybe film individually playing a song, and then we could send it to him, and he could cut back and forth. You know, like we could all shoot it at home. A lot of bands are doing that.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like they're playing together at the same time, but they're not. You know. Anyway. Blah, 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 technicalities. Guys, I want to encourage, we're getting near the end of this, but please, while things are still open, if you've got things that are still open, I want to say currently, and again, this may change with the new governor. I don't know how
But
different. Currently, Capybara Coffee is still open. They're open until 4.
Do you want to say today's date that we're recording just so people aren't?
This is
Thursday,
April
April
2nd.
2nd.
Okay.
As of Thursday, April
There you
2nd, Capybara Coffee is open every day till 4 p.m. They're doing safe. You're not allowed to enter. You have to stand there, and then they bring it
please
to
go help
you.
those
That's
people
very
if you can.
careful.
Yes.
I mean, stay at home, but if you need coffee, please go there and then go back home. Also, I'm told that our friends, the geniuses at Postmodern Spirits, are still doing pickup orders, and they've started bottling some of the famous cocktails. And if you've ever spent more than 5 minutes around me, you've heard me rave about some of the things they have, including the world famous Handsome Jack cocktail that was invented by our dear friend Hannah Isasaki. And now you can buy a bottle of it, take it home, stay home, and still enjoy the Handsome Jack. And also our buddy Will at Central Depot, our brother from
Shout
another
out,
mother.
Will.
Shout out Will. Central Depot is also open right now for takeout orders. They've got a menu. They're doing everything perfectly and safe. They've got food. He's got new food items. He added a bunch of stuff to the menu. So, and I'm sure there's a bunch, like I said, Sono Tacos being super, super, super careful with their food, and it's wonderful. It is so good, dude. We got a couple. I hadn't eaten there a lot. Crazy good. What do you got?
The Oliver Royale is
They're
doing
doing takeout?
bottled cocktails and takeout.
Boom.
So I think that's from 3 p.m. until 8 p.m. Monday through Friday.
Amazing.
I would call and check for the weekend hours, but they're doing door delivery. So you just go, you order the food, and then show up at the front door of the hotel, and they'll bring the food out to you.
And then just dip, dude. That's what I'm like. I got a bag the other day of something. I used so many Clorox wipes on it that the bag fell apart. But I was just being careful, you know, like trying to use no contact, using a card, wiping the card. My fucking debit card is so slimy from all the sanitizer that's been on it for the last 2 weeks. But again, just be careful. You know.
They also have Pedal Javas doing quarantine kits.
What's that? Tell me about that.
Delivering them to
it's
your
so
door.
good. Yeah.
So Pedal Java, who our Hunter's wonderful wife Libby works for, for conventions and stuff, they're doing quarantine kits where they're giving like syrups and bags of coffee and like tips on how to make like
I think I
lattes
saw it. Didn't Deb
and
post about?
frappes.
She did one. Okay.
And I just
you
ordered
make your
cold
own
brew from them. They just
Yeah.
bring 2 jars of cold brew to my door, and I give them some.
They'll deliver it to your house,
They'll bring it.
They'll
to
bring
you.
it straight to your house.
no matter where you live, or is there a certain area?
I'm pretty sure.
They didn't say there's a certain area right now.
Just
this
depending on
is their
availability.
job. They don't have a day job, quote unquote. This is what they do. So they're happy to drive out.
All over town.
Yeah.
Okay.
To
and
my
let
knowledge,
me tell
yeah.
you, that cold brew,
Pretty fucking good. So that's Pedal Java.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's
So
a,
we've
that's
got-
a teeny tiny business
And I'm
run by
pretty
2
sure-
sweethearts, and the stuff you get for the price is a steal. and a
Gotcha.
half.
Well, and let's do a shout out also right now to Awaken Coffee in the Old City. Awaken Coffee also doing takeout and wonderful coffee. And they've got a program right now. I think if you buy a gift card or donate to the GoFundMe online, that they will deliver you a bag of their coffee. So shout out to them.
Yep.
Give them and anybody that also that was. We talked about some of the churches. They're doing online. They're not, the church is not in session, but they're doing. You can go online and listen to Adam, my friend Adam. And I'm here to man. Regardless of what you think about church, he's wonderful. And if you've got this weird archaic opinion of church, he'll change your mind. He really will. He's a good dude. He's got a lot of good things to say. So shout out to them. And I want to give another shout out to like I said, Pizzeria Nora still doing to go orders. Oakwood Barbecue. Oh man. If you've not had that, you haven't had barbecue. It's
Okay.
awesome. And they're setting
Where's
up.
that at?
It's a food truck. And usually they set up over on Central. I think this week they're on Central from like 1 to 7. across from Saints and Sailors Barbershop, which is like 1531 or something. But sometimes they're down by Else Brewery, and they're making people social distance in the line. They're not letting people pile up in the line, so they're doing everything safe. They've got all the condiments inside. I've been reading about them. It's wonderful. It's the best barbecue I've ever had, hands down. I don't even know what would be second.
And I will say this. I know earlier I talked about Publix and some employees touching their faces that I noticed and then touching my stuff. But I'm also a neurotic germaphobe. Calm down. I will say they do have all their lines, like their aisles, taped off for 6 feet apart. And so does, I believe, Target. All the grocery stores that are open are definitely trying to practice safe distancing and or social distancing and things like that. So yeah.
And let's let the people decide. I mean, if you go someplace and they don't look like they're being careful, if they seem careless, if they're not wearing gloves, or if they're just touching their face, whatever, don't go back there. Don't give them any of your money. Let them fall in the back, And the people that are like Oakwood and those people that are really, really trying, Capybara and Pedal Java, and like the people who are really, really trying, like let's get them. If there's any extra money, I know money's tight right now, but if there's any extra money, let's send it their way.
Absolutely.
All right, cool. Well, good. Well, then we're gonna again, part 2 of the Beacon House survival thing here. We're gonna beat this motherfucker.
Yeah.
Or maybe I won't.
You will.
Maybe.
You know what would help you win over the coronavirus is a little song, I think.
Really?
Yeah,
Because I think just staying at home is helping me plenty.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't really need a song.
I think you could use a song. Like,
No.
what if Scott Stapp came to you?
And said, "Hello, my friend, we meet again. Been a while. Where should we?
I think I want the
eat bacon?
coronavirus then. I think I'll take the.
Got a fishnet shirt.
Oh God.
The deep fryer at Denny's, boy.
I heard there's underage girls that
with all my toys.
underage girls in the parking lot. Scott Stapp.
Microphones and big chicks, 'cause I'm insulated.
I threw ketchup at her.
I'm rich.
I hate you.
Oh my.